The world is moving on from SEO to GEO. And probably you and I are already doing more searches through LLM and AI than
Mhm.
through Google.
Yep.
And there's an underlying difference, right? When you do a Google search, and SEO has been around for years, that sources largely from the brand website or from direct brand social media handles or
Right.
accounts. AI doesn't do that. AI sources from every publicly available source where the brand has been mentioned.
Hmm.
Even beyond, right? If there's a yogurt brand and somebody is querying about that brand, the AI tool could source from everything around yogurt, including the negative voices about the brand.
Right.
And brands need to operate in that space. So just that's why just storytelling or even part story doing is not enough.
Hmm.
And you have to watch out. Otherwise, in the future, you get exposed very quickly, very rapidly.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great point. And I've listened to Gary Vaynerchuk a lot, and he brings up how switching to that AI mindset also when it comes to even utilizing social media apps. So even just now when you're doing a search within like Instagram or Facebook, that meta AI that's in there is going to start to really pick up with it's no longer just using it as a search tool like you mentioned Google. It's people are turning to the social media AIs and then also like ChatGPT and and Google Gemini, things like that, to create content for them and also to absorb content. So really thinking about that moving forward is so important. Also utilizing things like how can you make sure your brand sentiment is as positive as possible when it comes to social media and, all these AI, ChatGPT, all of that, because all of those sources are going to get pulled up when it comes to, using
Absolutely.
AI for search. I also think it's a really great experience, like opportunity, when it comes to branding and also content creation to lean into the the more of the writing and different creative avenues piece. So right now we see a lot of like the blogging, for example, was really big, articles, things like that. I think there was a big shift to maybe more short form content and videos and things like that. But now that AI is getting bigger and we're seeing that brands are going to have that experience where content will be pulled from a variety of sources, it's
Yeah.
important to make sure that you're present on all of them, and to get as many people talking or writing about your brand as possible. It's interesting from a personal perspective. I've noticed that a lot of the collaborations too, some outreach from brands right now has been collaborations through my website. So they've been
Mhm.
interested more so in article writing from me, which I think is just an interesting thing to think about. It really shifted from maybe a short form video or, diving into kind of just like a few photos or things like that to really dive into that storytelling piece, like you mentioned, where you're able to provide that long form content in an article
Yeah.
or in a blog post. And that's actually really becoming valuable for brands out there if their brand is talked about on a variety of different platforms, not just social media. So that's a really great point about that brand sentiment. I'm really glad we brought that up too. And now I'm going through. So I think that's actually our last question for today. Was there anything else that you wanted to bring up on the podcast that we could discuss today, or any brand examples or anything like that?
Looking at this thing, yeah, just one point, and use it if you think it's relevant. Huh? But when I think of, say, when I speak to young brand marketers today, and when I talk of my team, there are three things that stand out for me, right? So which looking forward, looking into the future, brands need to really be cautious about. And many a times I still see purpose being treated as an element of positioning,
Okay.
which I do think is a mistake. It's very important to not leave it on paper as a part of positioning, but to embed purpose into the value chain,
Hmm.
end to end value chain, right? So if I'm talking about sustainability as a purpose, or anything as a purpose, it has to be reflected through my value chain,
Right.
start to end. That's one point, and that's not necessarily as easy. Defining a purpose or even doing marketing around that is the easier part.
Hmm.
Embedding it into the value chain is the tough part, but that
Right.
needs to happen in the future. The second is this behavior of brands around being a broadcasting themselves versus behaving their purpose,
Okay.
and the latter is more important in the future, right? Let the community, let the consumer broadcast you behave the purpose, and you do the right things which are the right things to do. with short-term growth or P&L pressures that often gets compromised. So that's a watch out. That's something I keep telling my team as well. And the third is, and you touched upon this, right? And including the kind of engagements you have had, this brands need to design for participation, not persuasion. And that has also changed over the years a lot. Right? So and the way campaigns are built, campaigns are thought of, needs to be around participation and engagement, less around persuasion.